Here you see the RTQ2079 evaluation board, and the special GUI lets you read and write various register settings via I2C. When we switch on the power supply, the RTQ2079 will start up based on the OTP settings that were set for this IC. In this default OTP case, the high voltage buck 1 steps down the input to 3.6 volts, which then powers buck 2 1.1 volt, buck 3 1.8 volt, and LDO1 3.3 volt and LDO2. In the default OTP, LDO2 is not enabled. You can see the default power sequence: first buck 1, then LDO1, then buck 3, and then buck 2. Now we start the GUI, and we will connect to the board. After connecting, we scan for the I2C address, which now shows the I2C address as 75 hex. Now we go into the control section, and we will do a full read of all registers. The operation state registers shows that the IC is running in active state. In the function menu, we can disable the IC by selecting sequence control and select sequence off. The IC powers down in the opposite sequence of startup. And we can switch on by selecting sequence on again. Let's have a look at the fault behavior. We go to the fault flag menu and select read all and then enable polling. You can see that the undervoltage, overvoltage and overcurrent flags of all converters are dark, so there are no faults. Let's apply an overload condition on LDO1 by connecting a 5 ohm resistor to LDO1, which will overload LDO1. You can see that all converters are shut down, and they stay shut down even when I remove the overload. The fault registers shows an undervoltage condition on LDO1. The reason for the shutdown latch condition is because the auto reboot action is default disabled, which can be seen in the control menu. To restart the PMIC in latch condition, we send a software reset in the control menu. The IC restarts, but if we go back to the fault flag menu, you can still see that the LDO1 undervoltage flag is shown. In this way, the system can check the reason for the shutdown even after the system had recovered. To remove the fault, the system should send a clear fault command. In some camera systems, it may not be possible to send I2C commands when the PMIC is shut down. For these cases, the auto reboot function should be enabled. To do this, we first need to shut down the converter by setting sequence off, then we set the auto reboot to enable, and then we switch on the converter again via sequence on. Then we look at the fault flags again. When we now overload LDO1, the LDO1 undervoltage flag shows again. The converters will try to restart, but as LDO sees the overload, it cannot rise to its nominal level, and it will run into its current limit, and LDO1 overcurrent flag is also triggered. The other converters won't start. Only when I remove the overload, the PMIC starts up again. The system can now check the fault flags and see that the shutdown was caused by LDO1 overload.